Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday failed Fred Matiangi badly during the Jubilee NDC, which was held in Nairobi.
In the last general election, I endeavored to pass this message. Unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears and was lost in the noise of insults, character assassinations, myths and stories of dynasties and hustlers, and so on. Yeah. Today, many of the gains we had in the past have been eroded.
In this video, I want to shock you how Uhuru Kenyatta failed Fred Matiangi. Because for those who've been following the politics of the Republic of Kenya very closely, Fred Matiangi is running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. And for a very long time, Fred Matiangi did not have a party. But so many political parties were trying to win him to their side. But the truth is, Jubilee Party presents Matiangi with the best option.
Hii ya kusema ati chama hii ni ya upande hii, chama ni ya upande hii, chama ni ya upande hii. La, wacha tuwe na national parties ambazo zinaunganishwa kwa sababu ya sera, lakini sio kwa sababu ya pahali ambapo zimetoka. Hakuna sababu ya nyinyi kama wana Jubilee kuchagua mtu kutoka kila kona yeyote ya Kenya. Haja ni nyinyi mjue ya kwamba huyo mmechagua ni mtu ambaye atajitolea kutendea Wakenya wote pahali popote walipo kwa haki, bila kupora na bila kutenga mtu yeyote.
So Matiangi decided that he's going to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya under Jubilee Party. The truth is, Jubilee Party, through people like Jeremiah Kioni, made efforts. And those efforts actually paid off when Fred Matiangi finally agreed that he would be running under Jubilee Party, which for me, considering all other factors, Jubilee is the best party for him, despite of the disadvantages of using that party. So yesterday, Jubilee Party convened their NDC. And it was expected that Uhuru Kenyatta was going to cede the leadership of the party to Fred Matiangi. That did not happen, probably because of other strategic reasons. But I want to explain to you guys why I strongly believe Uhuru failed. Failed might be a soft word. Why Uhuru betrayed Fred Matiangi. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And with the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is that Fred Matiangi will be running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. And the endorsement and the support of Uhuru Kenyatta is very important. The other fact is that the party in which he will be contesting for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya is also very, very important. So yesterday it was expected that the day was going to be Fred Matiangi's day. Was that day about Matiangi yesterday? That's why I strongly believe that Uhuru Kenyatta played Matiangi and betrayed him. Why am I saying so? Number one, the failure to declare Matiangi as the Jubilee presidential candidate in 2027. If you paid very close attention to Uhuru Kenyatta, he was very, very clear that Jubilee Party will sponsor a candidate in 2027. He actually said Jubilee will sponsor candidates for all seats, including the presidency. But he did not specify who the presidential candidate is. In my view, Uhuru Kenyatta ought to have made it very, very clear that Jubilee, which is his party, will sponsor a presidential candidate and that candidate is none other than Fred Matiangi. Some people will argue about timing. We are in October almost. 2026, then 2027, we are in election. Right now, Jubilee should know their presidential candidate. Because apart from Jubilee itself, we still have united opposition. So I don't know why Uhuru was delaying. So the failure to declare Matiangi as their presidential candidate, in my view, was not well thought out. Okay, let's assume it was left out for strategic reasons. Who other candidates will be running on Jubilee? Because if we had 2 or 3 candidates, then you'll say, okay, we have these candidates and we'll pick one of them. It's already obvious that Jubilee will sponsor Matiangi. So by not talking about it, it means there's still fear. They have not made up their minds. So he ought to have done that. But let's say that was not really necessary because of timing. The second way he failed Matiangi was not allowing Matiangi to address Jubilee NDC. I know you can argue that the event was about Jubilee NDC. Matiangi is a member of Jubilee Party. He was a cabinet minister under Jubilee Party. He's the only one who has declared his interest for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. What stopped them from allowing Matiangi to have even 10 minutes only to address the nation? Maybe they would have told him, don't talk about this, don't talk about this. He would have gotten that opportunity to address the entire country live. He would have gotten the opportunity to say, attack William Ruto's policies. And those would have made headlines. It should have allowed speculations to continue. Even if they didn't, for example, endorse him, if he had been allowed to speak at the NDC, that would have made serious statements. That did not happen. Can you explain to me, like a child, why Jubilee did not allow Matiangi, who was present, the chance to address that gathering? The truth is, they wanted to protect Uhuru Kenyatta, which brings me to my third point. I think Uhuru Kenyatta wanted all the limelights, all the focus to go to him. Uhuru is a former president. He's the party leader of Jubilee Party. Jubilee Party is facing a lot of problems as we speak. Then they had NDC, which they sold, in quotes, as an event where Matiangi was going to be the main guy. Then you don't allow Matiangi to speak, you don't endorse him. What do? You carry all the limelight. To an extent that today in the Republic of Kenya, the NDC ended, but the news we are getting is how Uhuru Kenyatta challenged Ruto on untested what policies when he was attacking those projects Ruto was undertaking. That event ought to have been about Matiangi, or even if not Matiangi, let Uhuru Kenyatta have credit, but Matiangi somewhere. So I think Uhuru wanted to take credit, wanted to take the entire limelight from anybody. Because if Matiangi had been given the microphone, probably he would have carried that limelight. So they said, okay. And this is how Uhuru Kenyatta played Raila. Uhuru Kenyatta never took his opportunity to go to the ground to campaign for Raila. I'm waiting for Uhuru Kenyatta to go to the ground to campaign for Matiangi. Unless Uhuru Kenyatta will do that, I'll assume that Uhuru Kenyatta is still playing Fred Matiangi. Number 3, you see, it's a known fact that Matiangi is a member of Jubilee Party. He ought to have been officially, because previously he was a minister, he ought to have been officially welcomed into that party. He would have handed over those delegates, all of them, to Matiangi, even inviting him up there. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, but you won't convince me that Uhuru did not betray Matiangi. That was supposed to be Fred Matiangi's day yesterday. That was supposed to be the day Matiangi was going to take control of Jubilee Party. That was the day Matiangi was going to test whether he will be able to win the support of the mountain in the mountain against Rigathi Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what your thoughts are, but if you're to ask me, if Uhuru Kenyatta were to be serious with Matiangi's bid, he needs to understand the following. The first thing he needs to understand is the fact that Fred Matiangi is a presidential candidate. And as a presidential candidate, Fred Matiangi needs his moment. And that moment is what will create for him the momentum to campaign. Yesterday was that moment which Fred Matiangi needed for the momentum for 2027. If he had been allowed to speak, if Uhuru Kenyatta had endorsed him, today, Fred Matiangi would have woken up somewhere, say in the mountain, follow up, the next day, somewhere else. So he lost that opportunity to create moment or momentum. Number two, Fred Matiangi should be sold in the mountain as a possible presidential candidate. If these guys are serious that they are handing over Jubilee to Matiangi, what should they do? They should figure out how Matiangi can be the preferred candidate of the mountain. Right now, the preferred candidate of the mountain is who? Rigathi. In a situation where Rigathi is not there, Matiangi should be that person. But he was never handed over the Jubilee Party. But Jubilee Party was not handed over to him. He was not even allowed to address them. Yeah? The truth is, if the intention is to wait so that Uhuru Kenyatta can go to the ground or Mount Kenya can go to the ground, then Matiangi's event will be created later, then they're late. They're late. Matiangi should be sold to the people of the mountain that he is their candidate. I know you'll say that Matiangi needs to have that national face, which is okay. But our politics is also local. The third thing which we need to agree to is that as much as Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee Party are very important for Matiangi, he needs to now be seen as the guy through image. Because Uhuru Kenyatta taking control of Jubilee with a bad name outside there, like Azimio guys don't trust him, UDA people don't trust him now, he needed to hand over that party immediately to Matiangi. Then now Jubilee will now be viewed as Matiangi, not as Uhuru Kenyatta. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. I've been told that Uhuru plans to embark on Jubilee recruitment exercise. That recruitment exercise should have been officially launched yesterday by none other than Matiangi. Uhuru wants a situation where he controls Jubilee Party without ceding grounds or that control to Fred Matiangi. That's very dangerous for Fred Matiangi moving forward. I don't know what to think. Those are just my thoughts. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.